Hello, welcome to Season 3 of the Zombie Dance Party. This is a video series based in the game 7 Days to Die, released by the Fun Pimps. I'm your host, Hive Tyrant 424, and this is episode number 2. While recording my next episode, I ran into a major glitch. I was exploring that tower at the end of episode 1, which was awesome, by the way. I can't wait to find that tower again. I was on the rooftop, and I got, mobbed by the zombies there. And, while I was trying to nerd pull myself up onto a structure so I could shoot them with impunity, I accidentally got stuck inside the wood frame block I was throwing. Don't know how that happened, but the zombies couldn't hit me. They wouldn't destroy the block. I couldn't move out of the block, and I couldn't pick the damn thing back up. I tried logging out and back in, but I came back still trapped inside the block. I guess I could have used admin to get myself out, God mode or debug or whatever, but using admin even to fix a glitch still feels like cheating to me. And besides, my multiplayer server was finished building and it was ready to play on, so I just decided to start over. If you watched the first episode, you already know how I start my games and how I survive my first week, so rather than re-show the same kind of gameplay, I'm resuming the season with my first blood moon on this server. Unfortunately, I did spend a lot of time trying to find the perfect location for my tower, and I did a lot of jobs for the trader when I got to him, so where I settled there, this blood moon sort of snuck up on me. I had to build a rush tower starting at around noon on day 7. I had cobblestones that I'd salvaged from job sites I'd cleared, so I made a hasty version of my Alpha 18 tower. I knew the tower wasn't going to, go for very many blood moons because the AI was improved and what worked in Alpha 18 no longer does entirely. What I used to do is build a ramp up just like this one, put stairs on it instead of blocks. I don't like the zombies jumping. I like a smooth run toward me because, more headshots that way. And then I'd build, a tower 5 blocks away from the ramp, from the end of the ramp, where I would be standing to shoot them. It's where I'm standing right now in those bars. In the tower that I'm standing on, I've got a ladder leading up to a door. That's how I get into the tower for the blood moon. So the ladder is 2 blocks off the ground. The zombies won't go after it. I don't know whether or not they're attracted to that ladder. I don't know. I've never understood that. I just use it to get into the building. But the zombies, the door is level with the top of the ramp. So what the zombies are trying to do, or what they used to try to do, was run up the ramp to get into that door, but they can't because there's a 5 block gap, so they'd fall off the end of the ramp, and then they'd run back to the beginning of the ramp and try again. Now, because of the changes to the AI, it looks like the zombies, for the most part, some of them are coming up the ramp, but it looks for the most part like they're trying to break the base of the ramp, and some of them, at some point, they decide to just go after the tower that I'm in, the base of the tower that I'm standing on. And they never used to do that, so there have been changes to the AI, just as an FYI. Now, in my previous Alpha 19 videos, I did adjust the design of this tower and this setup some, and it did work. It worked beautifully, actually. So I know how I need to build this one. I just didn't have the time to build it properly. This tower will suffice for now and, let me get some kills and add up some XP so I can increase my game stage to where I can get my motorcycle back. That was actually the loss that hurt the most from episode 1. I didn't have the same good fortune with the trader, I don't have the crucible, and I couldn't even find a wrench to get mechanical parts for my workbench until day 5 for the wrench. I was really looking too. I didn't find the red brick apartment like I usually do, and most of the POIs I'd cleared were single houses. There's some commercial buildings, but the closest place that I could find with more than 1 or 2 sinks was the Days End Motel, and that's probably about 400 or 500 meters away from where I was, and not in the directions that the vendor was sending me, so I didn't even know it was there. So, a couple of sinks per location for each house in the POIs. It's really not a surprise it took that long for me to get a wrench. This blood moon, the best I could manage was a bicycle for the vehicle. I got that one, as soon as I could build the workbench, which I did on day 5, because all I was waiting for was the mechanical parts. I've leveled up my stealth and my knife skills. which is, something I did in season 2. I was doing a ninja build, and the knives were fun. Silent build. I'm not doing that this time around. I'm just using the knife because it saves ammo. Guns and bullets have been a bit more difficult to come by so far in this playthrough. Before the Blood Moon, I did manage to buy an AK, and I got a Magnum for a job reward. I also bought my first 9mm pistol. I think it was day 3, 2 or 3. And then, of course, as soon as I bought the 9mm, I found 2 more in the next POI I was clearing, naturally. Alright, so you can see at this point the zombies are actually, some of them are attacking the base of the tower. This is when I realized that they were actually going after the base of the tower. And it wasn't in one of my video series, but there was a multiplayer game I was playing with my buddy Richard. And I had sworn by this design. I told him how safe it was, how good it was. And so for the first Blood Moon on the server that we were playing together, he came to my tower and... Or no, wait, no. There wasn't the first Blood Moon. It was the second one. The first one he had spent at his base in his house. And I told him how great my design was. I built it out of lumber and upgraded to cobblestone because I played the long game. And... So I told him how great my tower was because he had taken a bit of damage on his base for the Blood Moon, and I was like, mine's really great, you should check it out. So unfortunately, because during the week between Blood Moon 7 and Blood Moon 14, I didn't do any harvesting. I didn't have any cobblestone, so my base, my tower, was still lumber. So he comes over for Blood Moon 14, and I'm absolutely confident the design will hold because it had in previous games. But what I had forgotten, what I had spaced out in my head, was when you have 2 players in the same location, the zombies spawn for both. And they ended up toppling my tower with me and my buddy in it. And I died. I think he survived. But he ended up spending the rest of the Blood Moon kiting the zombies around on his motorcycle, because I'd gotten motorcycles between day 7 and day 14. So he kind of lost faith in my tower design, and it's kind of, it seems like it's reverted back to that. The zombies do go after the base of the tower as opposed to going up the ramp like they should. And I don't object. I don't mind that the Fun Pimps adjusted the AI and made them smarter, because this sort of a design, it feels like it's an exploit of zombie pathing, and I'm not a fan of that. I try not to build exploit towers and bases. I want things to be on the up and up. One job rewarded me with 20 pipe bombs, which I usually sell, but I decided to hang on to for emergencies. I am so glad I did. I had hoped the tower would survive the night. I guess what I meant to say is I expected the tower to last the night. I was just kind of dorking around with the pipe bombs. I hadn't planned on using them, but what the heck, I figured I had them and, save a few bullets, blow up a few zombies. But when after that tower went down, I was like, oh crap. And of course, when I landed, I broke my leg. So I wasn't expecting the tower to fall, as you may or may not have noticed. You'll see when I get off the bicycle. But I didn't put a first aid kit or painkillers or even a first aid bandage, not even a regular bandage, on my belt. So I had no healing. And I don't even have a splint in my inventory. I've got him back at the base. I wasn't expecting this. So I'm just riding around on my bicycle, kiting the zombies, trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do. I didn't want to go. I would not go back. Ouch. Ow. Stop that. I didn't want to go back to where my stuff was stashed, my base, because I didn't want to lead the zombies there and have them topple that and, tear that house apart. But I can't run and gun with a broken leg. I mean, maybe if I were higher game stage, higher level, and I had better, the machine gunner perk maxed with a really good M60 with a drum magazine or two or three, I could have done this. But broken leg, 9mm pistol, a couple of pipe bombs, and an AK-47 and a bow. And my knife, of course. But, please don't kill me. Oh, 10 hit points left. Oh man, one more zombie touches me and I am cooked. No, go away. Oh, wow. Almost 5,000 experience. Hey, there might be something to this pipe bomb running and bomb thing. Another 2,500. Well, I'm hitting them. I'm killing some. Yeah, explosives are very imprecise. I mean, as you notice, I throw 2 pipe bombs because I'm not 100% sure I'm going to hit anything with the first explosion. It takes a little finesse, takes a little timing. You got to learn the timing between the zombies' run speed and how far to throw, how long the fuse is, and crap. Now I'm out of pipe bombs because I wasted them on the tower earlier. Oh, I'm in trouble now. Wait, is that all of them? Is the blood moon over? Oh, wow. 11 hit points. I do have the first level of the healing perk, so I will get back some health. And I think that was initially what I was thinking when I hopped on the bike, is I'll just ride around and I'll get some health back. But yeah, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I still had 3 hours of the blood moon to kill, and there's no way I was gonna just kite around for 3 game hours. That would have been incredibly boring. So I'm glad I decided to keep those pipe bombs, and they did come in handy. Oh, I guess I didn't have a splint. Well, I know I have the materials to make one. So there we go. I'm splinted up. By the way, I in my last episode, I did have the question. I asked myself the question: if you get a broken limb and you cast it or splint it, will you inflict damage or make the injury worse? Running, jumping, sprinting, that kind of stuff. The answer is no. It doesn't extend the timer. It does flash. I think it does that to say, hey, you have a broken leg that's healing, so you can't run the fastest that you could run. But it didn't extend the timer at all when I ran. As you can see, I basically dumped every piece of healing I had. I took a healing bandage, a first aid kit, a painkiller. I even ate one of those health bars to shorten my healing time a little bit, because they improve your natural healing somewhat. Oh, got a couple of zombies now. Crap, is this going to start a new blood moon? When you die... Hello. What? How did she make me bleed? With her toenails? Get a pedicure. Anyway, when you're in a blood moon and you die, the zombies resume normal behavior. They just behave like regular zombies at night. But if you harm any zombie, they start blood moon behavior again. They know exactly where you are, and they'll tear apart the world to get to you. So that's what I was worried about with those 3, that I would have a whole new blood moon, and I don't have any pipe bombs left. So yeah, that was a really crappy blood moon, both body count and loot wise. I got some money, which I'll be able to sell and get some dukes, but I'm pretty low on cash. I've got some food here. As you can see, I don't have a lot. You would think I'd have more for the time that I've been playing, and I did do a lot of jobs, but no. I've got one forge. I have one workbench. It's behind me there. My campfire. I don't have a chemistry station. Nothing. Like, This playthrough, this first week has not been as good, you know, game progression and finance wise as my first one was, which, you know, kind of sucks, but it's all about survival. And like I said, I'm playing the long game here, so I intend to have a lot more than this. The road to hell's paved with good intentions, right? I guess I spent more time than I realized just looking for where I was going to base. That was probably where I screwed up. But, oh well. It is what it is. I've got iron tools, which, you know, it's a good start. I did pick up, I found, no, I didn't find. I bought the tough guy sunglasses, the nerdy glasses, and the ski goggles that I've got on currently. I had to buy all of those, 1,000 dukes a piece. You got to have every bonus you can get in this game, let me tell you. So 76 kills. You know, like I said, not great, but they didn't kill me. That's the most important thing. I do have one death, as you can see on record. I don't reset my game saves. I let my deaths stand, and so there you have it. As I said in the description, I'm actually including 2 Blood Moons, Blood Moon 7 and Blood Moon 14, in this one episode because there wasn't really a whole lot in the way of excitement for getting to this point. But I did not want a duplicate of Day 7, so as you can see, I've moved to a new location not far from my base. I burrowed down into this giant boulder. And initially, what I had intended was, it's not all the way to bedrock, by the way. This was just going to be my stone farm. What I do is I'll dig a pit or dig a hole straight down, at least 30 blocks from the surface. And at nights, I'd just go down there and mine stone, which is what I was doing here. But typically, I find once I've reached that 30 blocks down, I'll start digging just across in a random direction. And I just keep going straight, just a tunnel tall enough for me to be in. And I just keep moving straight in one direction until I run across a resource of some kind. It's inevitable. You travel long enough underground, you will find a deposit of ore somewhere. So that's what I was doing, but I hadn't found any other than the lead that I passed through to get down to this point. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to start building some kind of Blood Moon base, because I was getting pretty close to Day 14, and I already had all of this dug out. So, you know, I figured, let's try an underground base. The tower, I know how to build my tower properly so that it stands the test of time and the zombies can't destroy it or don't destroy it. But I haven't built an underground base in a long time. I don't remember which alpha it was. They changed it to the zombie behavior, but they basically made underground bases and underground bunkers kind of bunk. So I decided, well, let's see how their behavior changed and see what it looks like underground now. So I'm starting a new base. This is actually going to be my long-term base. As you can see, I've started construction and placing things. I've started carving out of the stone there for my base. I've got this long hallway, and it's got some surprises that I'll show you in a later episode. But initially, because of my game stage and it's only the second Blood Moon, I wasn't expecting much in the way of zombies. Like, you know, just your standard fare, fast running and you know, a little bit tougher zombies, but nothing spectacular or special. Certainly no demolition. I don't even think I'm going to see cops with this game stage. So it's just your regular zombies. So my plan was, the intention, again, the road to hell paved with good intentions, but my plan was that the zombies would just come down the ladder, one at a time, because they do use ladders. If there's a ladder available and that's the path that they can take to get to you, the path of least resistance, that's what they'll do. Well, the trouble that I ran into here is that my tunnel it wasn't intended for zombies to travel down, so it's only one block wide. It's only, big enough to accommodate me on a ladder. Now, I know the zombies will use the ladder. As you can see, they are climbing down, but there are more zombies trying to get down. Ooh, granny panties. Perfect view. There are more zombies trying to climb down the ladder than there is room for the zombies to come down. So what they're doing is they're breaking blocks to get at this ladder to come down. I keep shooting these guys right in the donut hole there. That is kind of funny. One thing I've noticed with this particular method is the zombies, they can't seem to attack downward. Like, they don't kick or stomp or anything like that. They attack with their hands. Even the dogs, as you can see, they're trying to get down to the dogs using ladders. By the way, it's kind of funny, but they actually can't attack down. So what they're doing is they're just kind of shoving me. They're piling onto me and shoving me down the ladder, which is fine. I can keep shooting them in the tints and just collecting body count this way. But it's not. First of all, this is a glitch or a pathing exploit. But there you go. There's a problem. Somehow they the same problem I ran into when I got mobbed on the roof of that tower. Boom, yeah, you tried to jump with one leg. See how far you get. In that tower, same problem with the tower is I got glitched into the terrain there. And fortunately, I was able to get out of it. I think it's because the zombie probably punched me or something. But I fell down my shaft there, and I almost hit the bottom. I managed to grab onto the ladder before I hit the bottom, so I didn't fall and break my leg again. Thank goodness. But, yeah, this is not an ideal. This wasn't intended to be a Blood Moon base. I would have built it differently if I was planning on bringing the zombies down here. So I'm just kind of rolling with it to try and survive the Blood Moon. And I am curious, of how the zombies are going to behave in this tunnel. And one of the things that I've learned with building in 7 Days to Die is that when you build a tower, you build a base or whatever you're building, you see how the zombies behave. Typically, I like to test drive my Blood Moon setup with a screamer and her horde that she spawns during day when they're not sprinting. But I'm not high enough game stage, or I'm not generating enough heat to spawn a screamer yet, because I haven't seen any. So I wasn't able to actually test this and see how the zombies would behave on these ladders. That's kind of funny. They when you kill them, sometimes get a body part gets hung up on the ladder like that janitor guy. So yeah, I'm just again, I'm not a fan of another texture glitch. No, please. Oh, let me out. Oh, I'm standing on a zombie's head. See, they can attack up. They can punch you and attack you when you're standing on their heads, but they can't attack you when they're standing on your head. I hope that Fun Pimps fix that somehow so that the zombies can still attack downward, because that would be. I mean, you could exploit that, and I don't want to exploit the game. I want to find legit ways to fight them. I actually have a really good plan on how I'm going to use this shaft and the hallway and being underground, but it is going to require some careful building so that I don't accidentally give them an easier way to get to me than the way that I want them to go. As one thing that I learned early on in 7 Days to Die, I don't know. I guess when my Alpha 18 tower design first was born, that concept, I started building it on a lake, on water, because the zombies couldn't swim. They can swim now, by the way. So you can't just swim around on the surface of a lake to escape a Blood Moon now. I never did that anyway, but I've heard that people have done that or did that. So Yeah, I built on a lake because they would run along the bottom of the lake, but the water resistance would make them run slow. And then my ramp would be, the start of my ramp would be right on the shore. So the zombies would come out of the water, immediately turn around and start climbing up the ramp. That's how that design started. And then I realized that if I built my base higher up, I could build it on like a flat ground and then build my ramp that way, and the zombies would still path up that ramp. So of course, Fun Pimps changed their AI, and now they don't do that anymore. As you recall from earlier, with the broken leg and the bicycle and the pipe bombs. So here we are exploring the idea of an underground base. I know that the question of how the zombies behave in tunnels and bunkers underground now. Now, if you're close enough, I think, I have no verification of this, but I think if you're close enough to the surface, like if you only build a few blocks down or whatever, I think the zombies will just, go directly to the square, directly over your head and start digging down. I think. They used to do that in Alpha 18. You couldn't build underground because they did that. But this base is, 30-some blocks under the surface, and so the shortest path with the least resistance without having to break through 30 blocks worth of stone, of natural stone, the shortest path is for the zombies to come down the hole that I've tunneled. And that would work if the ladder wasn't there. If the ladder wasn't there, they would all just be falling down the hole into this little sub pit that I've got going here, where these fine gentlemen are just kind of banging on the walls. And I want them to fall down in there and beat on the walls, because then I don't have to dig it out. My zombie workforce. Hey, look, he's even a construction worker. But this was actually, a good thing for them to come down here. This is where I wanted them to come. As you can see, I put some concrete blocks there to keep them from going any deeper. But again, with the ladder, they're not falling down en masse the way I want them to. I have a few explosive arrows in my inventory. I was going to test those in that little mini pit. Fill it with zombies falling or coming down from above. They'd fall off the end of the ladder and then into the pit, into the hole, and then I'd just fire a couple of explosive arrows and collect a nice body count. I would use pipe bombs, but I don't have any. So that was what I was trying to do. But as you can see, these idiots, these non-cooperative zombies, just keep getting stuck on the ladder. And it's very frustrating. They know how to use ladders. They can use them because you can see they are using the ladder, but they're not coming all the way down. I'm not sure what the reasoning or what the AIing is behind that, but they're not climbing down the ladder. They're getting stuck or hung up on something up there. So I'm basically just collecting a bunch of free kills, not really at much risk for injury or death here. I did pick up an infection from one of the guys that got a smack on me there. I didn't see when, but it's not life-threatening. And having a gun break in the middle of a blood moon, that could be life-threatening. That's okay. I have a panic button set up there. I just pull those rebar blocks out, and then the zombies, when the ones that do make it down, boom! The ones that do make it down just fall directly into that hole where they can't get at me. So I'm getting rid of these explosive arrows because I'm not a fan of the bow. I've said that before, but I did get them at some point. I picked them up somewhere. And they were almost worthless to the vendors, so I was like, okay, I'll just hang on to them and I'll just blow up a few zombies. So I got rid of those explosive arrows. Explosive crossbow bolts can be useful, I think, in the right circle. Oh, buddy got hung up on the ladder. Look at his leg has got him caught there. Let me help you out there. So, got rid of the explosive arrows. I am going to either invest in or take a few points in explosives to be able to make pipe bombs and eventually grenades, because I think grenades in a small confined pit like that would be pretty darn effective. Again, it's not going to be the Grand Spartan, the guy that I follow on YouTube. He's a live streamer, really great guy, hilarious, great entertainer. He built at some point, it was either Alpha 17 or 18 or maybe even earlier, he built a boombox base where, and he says, I never watched the video, sorry Spartan, I will eventually, I promise, but he said that you could play that on Blood Moon 700 and all you would need is pipe bombs. You wouldn't need any other weapons, you wouldn't get touched and the base wouldn't get destroyed. And what he said, and I can see how that would get really boring. Oh, another terrain glitch. I wouldn't want a base where all I had to do was light and throw pipe bombs to kill lots of zombies and make all kinds of XP. Yeah, I mean, you'll get lots of levels out of it and probably lots of loot, I assume. But that really wouldn't be all that much fun for me. Like I said, I don't build exploit bases, and if something I build starts to feel like an exploit, I'll change it. I don't like doing that. Oh, dude, you teleported. Cool. So my favorite method of a Blood Moon base is to build something that they could get to me. There's some timing and a little bit of skill. I think a little bit of skill involved in target selection and prioritization, keeping your weapons loaded, keeping your weapons repaired, keeping all of that going in concert while you're killing zombies. But if you screw up, they can still get to you and kill you. That to me is a fun Blood Moon base, right? I don't like the base where it's a guaranteed win, because where's the fun in that? There's no risk. Like I said, you're just exploiting the AI of the game because the programming language is limited, right? I'm not a programmer, so I don't know anything about programming, but I'm sure that they're limited in how to program these zombies to be difficult and dangerous and, creative. So, I'm not going to exploit a glitch or, utilize blocks that fool zombies into pathing a certain way. Like I said, my Alpha 18, my tower, the ramp tower, it started to feel that way. It started to feel like it was a pathing exploit. And if you actually go back and watch my Blood Moon 112 video, which is on my channel here, you will see that in that design, like I said, I revamped it and I redesigned the tower, but in that design the zombies could get to me. I mean, the likelihood was really small because by the time I built that, I had reinforced steel and concrete. I had, I don't know, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 M60s. One of them was a level 6, the others were rank 5s. They were loaded with hollow point and AP ammo, and I used a rank 6 sniper rifle. I'd maxed out my sniping skills, so there was very little chance that the zombies were actually going to be able to come up that ramp, get up to the top, and climb the ladder, break through the vault hatch I'd put on there, and after all of that, and survive 4 shotgun turrets firing at the back of their heads. The likelihood of them actually succeeding was like slim to none, but it could happen. It certainly, it was not built or designed, and it wouldn't work as an AFK base where, I could go and make dinner while I farm XP. It did rely on active participation from the occupant of the tower. So the Blood Moon is over. It's 4 o'clock in the morning now to see how much damage these guys did to the tunnel. Oh, look, they're still going. Hey, tunneling crew, I actually need you guys down at the bottom, so if you wouldn't mind getting down there and getting on that. There we go. Ooh, free loot bag right in the face. A steel pick level 1. I already have a steel pick, thank you. I also managed to find a machete. Oh wait, No, the rank 4 machete was a quest reward. That's right. So, the Blood Moon's over. As you can see, I did blow through all of my 44 Magnum ammo. The 44 revolver is actually a lot more fun than it was in Alpha 18. And I think for me, it's the sound. As stupid as that may be, the sound effect of the 44 revolver was redone for Alpha 19. And it sounds, I don't know, like a 44 Magnum now. I felt kind of Dirty Harry-ish. So I burned through that ammo. The Desert Vulture is a wicked, wicked handgun. I can't wait to find one of those. That will definitely be my daily use pistol once I find one. Even a level 1 44 Desert Vulture is just brutal. So they didn't do a whole lot of damage. They did tunnel around a bit there when I was goofing around, picking up my rebar and all of that. Oh, look, a couple more. Latecomers. I got stuck behind a wall. Oh, that's all right. Let me free you from that prison of masonry. All right. So, not a lot of damage. More damage to the boulder and the ground around the base or around the tower. Ow! Oh, you stupid vultures. Now, this is one advantage to being underground, is you don't have to deal with vultures. But I'm sure that the game will find some way to get around that sooner or later. So, yeah. I did save a lot of ammunition by just doing the 44 Magnum for the most part. I ended up using some 9mm, but as you see, I've still got 700 rounds left for that. I'm set pretty well. So, yeah, not too bad. We'll call it a win, and we'll see what week number 3 brings. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next episode.